Most handguns you will see use 9mm. It's a well-rounded pistol cartridge capable of stopping a man with just a few shots. You want something more powerful? Alright. 45 ACP hits hard, but it's not well optimized for range. You're gonna struggle against anything beyond hugging distance. Oh, you need more power, okay. This one's in 50 Action Express. If you thought 45 sounded enticing, then you'll definitely like this. One shot will disembowel the guy you hit, shatter the brick wall behind him, and demolish the orphanage behind that. 2 will break your wrists from the recoil. What do you mean you're still gonna use it? Depending on who and when you ask, the Desert Eagle is an American or Israeli invention which originates from the age-old question of how can I kill more? There's multiple models, with 2 being featured in Phantom Forces, the L5, chambered in 44 Magnum, and the Mark 19, or as I prefer, the XIX, which is chambered in 50 Action Express. Both versions can be converted to use 357 Magnum. That's like changing an AUG to shoot 22 long rifle rather than the more powerful 5.56, because you want less recoil. Wait. 50 AE is pretty impractical, so it's relinquished to being mostly used for recreational activities, like target shooting and hunting polar bears from a low Earth orbit. Apart from that, there isn't really a need for a giant pistol in real life. In fact, not a single military in the world officially uses the Desert Eagle. It's large and heavy and powerful, but what's the point of a soldier carrying that around when he also has a rifle which can do the same things but better? However, it's still been popularized by action movies and video games thanks to its iconic design, and also because it's a fucking 50 cal. Not that 50 cal, this one. In comparison, the Desert Eagle looks tiny, but you gotta remember this is being shot out of a pistol, albeit a very large and cumbersome one. Thankfully, silly things like practicality and weight don't matter so much in Phantom Forces, so we can concentrate on the other things that make it unique. In-game, the stopping power of the XIX is incredible, capable of dealing 72 damage to the limbs at close range and a one-shot to the head and torso. You will most likely kill in a single shot. Beyond 40 studs, the potency of the cartridge drops off due to its poor ballistics. The damage stops lowering at 82 studs, where it is now 37 damage to the limb, making it a 3-shot, and a 2-shot to the head and torso. The aforementioned poor bullet design causes it to reach a measly 1500 studs per second muzzle velocity, lower than some 9mm pistols. Although the penetration is still extremely high for any sidearm, 1.5 studs is better than many full-size assault rifles. These terrible ballistics can be mitigated with the 2 long barrel attachments. The extended barrel changes the damage range to 56 to 143 studs, and increases velocity to 1950 studs per second, although severely slows aim and movement speed because of the increased weight. The police barrel changes the damage range to 30 to 192 studs, and increases the velocity to an astounding 2100 studs per second, as well as slightly lowering reload time, and further slowing aim and movement speed. For general use, I prefer the extended barrel because it increases close damage range by roughly 30%, meaning you can one-shot to the torso at a farther distance. The long damage range is also still very good and can one-shot to the head up to 136 studs. As for the police barrel, the close damage range is reduced by 25% down to just 30 studs, but it's a one-shot to the head up to 179 studs. This changes the XIX functionally into a DMR, but in my opinion, the higher one-shot headshot range is not worth the lower one-shot torso range. On paper, this gun sounds amazing until you look at the recoil. Since Phantom Force's recoil stats are very confusing and hard to put into perspective, I shall introduce a new rating system. I'm going to rate the vertical and horizontal recoil, as well as the recoil recovery speed, on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, with 5 being the most controllable and 1 being the equivalent of a newborn hip-firing a GAU-8 Avenger. Based on this, I give the XIX a vertical recoil of 1 out of 5 stars, horizontal of 3 out of 5, and recovery speed of 2 out of 5. Horizontal recoil is not really a big issue with this weapon, as by the time your vertical recoil recovers, your horizontal will already be good to go. However, the recoil recovery speed is still quite slow, so although the maximum rate of fire of the XIX is 200 rounds per minute, a more realistic interpretation will lead you to the conclusion of an effective 90 or so rounds per minute. If you really hammer the trigger down, then you're going to blow your entire load into the ceiling and miss everything, so you need to be precise with your timing. A muzzle brake can help address this recoil issue by reducing vertical recoil by 20%, and also has the added benefit of making the gun look unreasonably cool. There is also a police stock you can attach that reduces recoil, but worsens hipfire accuracy and further slows aim speed. And well, I'm gonna be honest, I've literally never used it before, so give me like 15 seconds to form an opinion I'll hold for the rest of my life. I probably wouldn't use it unless you're specifically turning your pistol into basically a DMR. 1 shot, 1 kill. Usually you hear that in reference to a sniper rifle, but with an extended barreled Mark 19 you can have the functionality of a mid-range semi-automatic headshotter with the utility of an instant kill if someone creeps up on you. In my opinion, a sidearm has 2 jobs. One is to quickly pull out and shoot someone if you're out of ammo on your main weapon. Now, the Desert Eagle isn't exactly going to win any land speed records for fastest draw speed, but the other job is to balance out your primary's weaknesses. I like to use the XIX with my assault and support class, as the assault rifles and light machine guns that I generally use are made for medium range and suffer in close and long range. So the Desert Eagle helps, as I can use the one-shot torso potential in close range, or the DMR functionality in long range. The iron sights are pretty ass though, and only give 1.5 times zoom, so I like to use a coyote sight instead, and you should too. The coyote sight has a very clear view and it's 2 times zoom, so you can be more accurate at longer distances while not hindering yourself in close range. Coincidentally, this is also one of my go-to optics for nearly all guns anyways. I give this gun 9 recoil-related concussions out of 10. If you want a unique, fun, or unnecessarily powerful self-loading semi-automatic pistol, then there isn't really much better than the XIX. And that may be partly because I made that description too specific to include any other noteworthy secondary weapons that could oppose the Desert Eagle's claim to throne. And one last thing, my friend is an absolute fanatical fiend about the XIX, so you should watch yourself in the comments. If you say anything negative about it, he will straight up eat your ass. Maybe you're into that, I'm not sure. Anyways, that's about it. See ya.